Last week, we lost a giant in the everlasting march towards human rights. David Gadaire, who for many, many years was the executive director. I don't know if that's the right title. I don't know if it's CEO or president and
Yeah.
all that, but he led what was known as Career Point and then became MassHire. He was such a ever optimistic person, at least in my presence.
Okay.
He carried a lot of sorrow and a lot of hope.
Mhm.
And at MassHire, it was very important to him that the people who showed up to learn how to get a job, how to put a resume together, how to get the right training to get a job,
Mhm.
and that the employers also consider MassHire as a entry point. You're looking for people, we have people. And
Mhm.
so much more. When
Yeah.
Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico in 2017, MassHire was right there,
Mhm.
helping people just, okay, we'll help you get a job. We'll help you, get a job where Spanish is spoken.
Right.
Right here, I'm with Bud Delphin, who worked with David, these two guys were pals. And Bud retired recently, but I want to, I called him up because as his buddy, he knew David in ways that
Mhm.
we did not.
Okay.
So thank you, Bud, for being here. Can you talk about David, who was your friend, who was your
Okay.
coworker,
Okay.
what he meant to you?
Okay. Sure. I wrote something in the memorial page for, that they put out at the funeral home, and I'll try to paraphrase it from my memory. I met David 20 years ago, when I started working at what was then Career Point. And in the first few days, I told my wife, this David might be the kindest, most decent, caring man I think I might have ever met. Okay. Um, and he knew right away he had a huge heart. He cared so deeply for people. He loved his staff. He was almost like a pastor to his staff. I would kid him about that. And I would say, you treat your staff like they're your congregation. Uh, uh, if someone was sick, if they had a family issue, I can't tell you the number of times there would be emails, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" He was just a very caring person, a very decent, kind person. Um, he had no prejudice. Um, he was just an very open, loving guy who really wanted to help as many people as he could. Uh, and he and it was weird. He was always hurt if he couldn't help someone. If someone sort of shunned him a little bit, or I don't need, could see that I'm here to help. And that's who he was. Again, after 20 years, I can confirm, as I wrote in that little memoriam, he was the most caring, decent, loving human being I've ever met. Um, he could be a funny man, he could be a sad man. Uh, he was a friend and he'll be missed. I don't know what else to say.
What a legacy. What a way
Yeah.
to leave us with. I concur with everything.
Okay.
Kindness. Kindness. That is something that is lacking so much everywhere.
Mhm. Yes.
And so many times you could have turned to pessimism and cynicism and just said, but that's not who he was in his bones. In his bones, he
Mhm.
was a kind man.
Mhm.
And what a legacy, what an example uh, for all of us. May his life
Mhm.
be a blessing to all
Mhm.
of us. Thank you, Bud.
That's my pleasure. Thank you, Natalia.